Everybody, welcome to the fifth official ACYC Progress Space. Per usual, I'd like to start with Nathan. Nathan, can you tell everybody what you've been working on?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm the web developer for ACYC. Just been working on the dashboard a little bit more, trying to visualize what's going on with the trading algorithm and everything, and the treasury and the war chest is what we call it, which will be explained better in the documentation, which we're still working on. And nothing too exciting to add here on my end tonight, but probably some cool updates in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool. And I just want to add on to that. I think a lot of people noticed today that the treasury got substantially smaller. Um, with that, it's not due to fluctuations in Ethereum. We've actually started to diversify and begin trading some low risk, high reward, or shall I say, um, some very good risk to reward ratioed trades. So to break that down, it's not going to be long term what we spend millions on, but 10 to 100 Ethereum, so 50 to 500K is pretty much the threshold at the moment that we're going to be using for these good risk to reward ratio trades. And so what that means is we're going to be entering trades manually, operators that are very calculated in terms of potential downside and potential upside. So potential downside, usually we'd like to keep it between 10 to 20%. And with that being said, we would welcome the downside of 10 to 20% in with open arms. So today we transferred out about 100 Ethereum and spent about 50 Ethereum of the 100. And when we're entering these trades, if it goes down 10 to 20%, we're not closing it. It's not a stop loss. It's calculated. That's where we'll be doubling down and then riding the way up because you never want to catch a falling knife, but you also want to make sure that when the knife bounces, that you have a little bit of powder to catch the reverse. And if we're entering something that has a potential 10 to 20% downside, uh, we would like the upside to be about 20 to 40%. And that's just conservative. Some of it can go 100% up. And so today we entered a few of these uh, pretty well calculated risk to reward trades. Currently it's in the green, but nothing notable. These can take anywhere from 4 to 48 hours, especially with something of this size. And that's just what we are moving on to next. Like I said, these good risk reward trades, um, because the whole project isn't based around just Pan or Dione or the algorithms. Those are to make sure that if these trades, like I said, 10, 20% downside, if we're going down 10, 20% on a 50 Ethereum trade, that's 5 to 10 Ethereum. Pan and Dione are there to make sure that we have easy income to balance that out, to keep funding these trades even if they do go down. And then long term, as everybody knows, it's to fund a giant war chest for stablecoin farming and yield farming. So yeah, excited to mention that we have officially moved on to the next phase where we will be entering these very well calculated risk to reward trades uh, to expand our treasury and expand our reflections. With that being said, Bogart, would you like to take the excitement of announcing Pam's performance?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so we've had Pan perform. Pan has been active now for several days, pretty much fully autonomously, and we've seen Pan do some amazing trades. One of the most notable of which I won't disclose what the position was, but Pan did see over a 10,000% gain, which was just phenomenal to see that play out. And it was in the span of just a few minutes. And so seeing what Pan can do, like Nate is saying, to sort of keep the treasury fueled is really amazing because it really enables us to use our other, risk adjusted trading strategies with a lot greater confidence, knowing that, Pan and Dion are watching out, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so I mean, we're seeing amazing returns from Pan now, and it enables us to move on to other things. And, pretty soon we'll be doing our, stablecoin farming and playing with cross-chain arbitrage and all of our other little tricks we have up our sleeves for filling that treasury and sending that back to you guys. But yeah, that's the most that that's one of the most notable trades Pan did, and the only one I'm willing to share at this point was a 10,000% gain. I think it was actually more than that. So pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, and with that being said, you are right. It was more than 10,000%, but at that point, why mention the extra icing on top? For anybody who's not aware, 10,000% is 100x. So, regardless of the initial amount that Pan put in, that would fund 100 more trades of equal size, which is absolutely insane. If Pan is making 100 calculated new listing entries, then I expect at least a lot of them to be profitable. So Pan will not be needing liquidity injections for a long time. And for anybody not aware of what Dione is, Dione will be kind of our calculated algorithmic dip. So if something's going up 100x, it's not going to be a shitcoin that dies within 5 minutes, and it'll be highly volatile. Dion will be there to buy the dips and flip those dips. So if anybody was looking at Mongoose yesterday, Mongoose did more than 100x. I think Mongoose did close to 1,000x, something insane like that. And along the way, Mongoose dipped 50%, which if you full reverse that 50%, that's a 2x. So imagine this. If you're trading on $100 and you go down to $50, that's a minus 50% move. But to go back to $100, that's a 2x. So 50 to 100 is 2x. So Dion will be there to make sure that it is capturing those dips and then flipping them on the retraces to the top. So Pan will be there to get us that first entry. And then whether or not we decide to sell the top, Dion will be there to buy the dips and just profit even more. Because, if you open an initial position, you just ride it to the top and capture gains along the way. But it's a lot more profitable to play the swings on a highly volatile coin. And that's where we are excited to develop Dion. Right now, Dion is, wouldn't say fully operational, but Pan is fully operational and currently being tweaked as we go. So excited for all this to come into play. Cool. So do we want to announce our new advisor addition to the advisory board?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason not to. Um, we've brought on now Wizard of Soho, if you guys know him. Wiz is someone we've been in communication with for quite some time. Pretty great marketing guy. Has a lot of connections. Just a really really smart mind as far as tokens go, and like macro scaling of ACYC. So we have now added another doxed advisor, expanding the crew, more big brains, more power. And again, something to reiterate about ACYC is even as we add these advisors, no single person has any, there's no single point of failure. So no person is ever given so much power in the project where where they could make a misstep that has a negative response for all of us. So we're really excited to bring Wiz on, and have his help with all of this, and that's going to lead to some other really really tasty announcements that I am not going to mention on this call. I will save that for the next spaces. But just so you know, we have a lot of good stuff coming on the token side of things.
Perfect. Yes. So we're very excited to have Wiz. Wiz is basically a fast track to a lot of conversations that otherwise would have taken many emails and loopholes or steps between. So super happy to have Wiz on board. With that being said, I've gotten reached out to about Micah. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing his name right. Taki Maeda, really, really interesting yield farmer that we were pushing to have brought on board as our head advisor of yield farming. Maeda has replied, basically in short, nothing against us or our project, but he is very happy with his current setup. to him dollars and impacting the community outside of his own are not within his focus. And so he has respectfully declined our offer to come on as a yield farmer or the head advisor for yield farmers. Uh, you know, not let down at all. Uh, Glad that the community elected him as the person that they wanted, because before all of this, I had no idea who he was, and his YouTube channel is full of absolute gold. So even though he's not being brought on board as our head of yield farming, uh, a lot of insight will be, gained from his YouTube videos, and the line of communication has been established and is open. And even though he's not going to be the official advisor, I'm sure we could still reach out to him. And beyond even just that, he did reference us quite a few people who he believed would be perfect fit for the position. So right now, conversations are underway. Not going to disclose anything, but super excited for where this is leading. And it's not a rush. At the moment, yield farming and stable coin farming and liquidity providing are all goals of ours. But, one step at a time. We've got about a mil point five or a little bit more in the treasury. It's not going to make a difference whether or not we have a head of yield farming or a yield farming advisor today or next week. And we don't want to rush this. We don't want to offer somebody this position that we're just trying to fill. We want the best of the best, because at the end of the day, we are going to completely compensate their efforts, and we want to make sure that they fit with us and we fit with them. And I'm glad that he declined, because if he couldn't give his all to us or the community, then it was very respectful of him to mention that and point us in the direction of a few other people who could. So yeah, it's not a setback at all. If anything, I'm glad that he kind of extended our ladder and gave us some insight on who we could reach out to. So he's very excited about all that.
And I will say that, yeah, that also, speaking with him has opened a lot of doors to other people. And we do have people lined up. And again, I won't mention any names, but we will have announcements soon about the yield farming side of things. So, it's not, he wasn't our only choice, and he's not our only option now. And we are, just like Nate is saying, taking the time to really choose the best advisors for the rest of our farmers, that can help us bring this to the next level and elevate, what individuals can already be doing.
Perfect. Yeah. And then also wanted to take this time to mention to everybody, we have a few more days left in our logo competition for the All Coins Yield Capital official logo. We've had a lot of exciting entries in so far. And, I see a couple that could be a clear-cut winners. But at the end of the day, the top five are going to be up to the community. And for those not aware, the top five community picked logos, the second, third, fourth, and fifth place logos will all receive $750. The first place will receive $3,000. And if you go and like and retweet the logo tweet, you'll have a chance to win $750 as well by just liking, retweeting. Perfect. Shoot. So we had planned on we knew we were gonna have a space today, and if it sounds like I'm a little bit tired or not completely behind this, I don't want to release any alpha, but we've been having some conversations with some people that once they come to fruition, which we hope they come to fruition today, but if not today, it'll be tomorrow. Once they come to fruition, this community will reflect harder than ever. And when I say that, I don't mean through buys. It's not this announcement will not result in a bunch of volume coming in, but nonetheless, it'll result in probably the greatest reflection to ever occur within this space. Bogart, feel free to unmute if I'm getting a little too close to the edge.
Yeah, I was about to cut you off. I'll let you keep going for now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop right there. You can hear the excitement coming back, but once this goes through, I hope that we will all just be in a giant circle reflecting together for quite a bit.
Yeah. So like Nate's mentioning, we do have our reflections coming, of course. And I did want to address a few questions that I've gotten. People ask if there's a frequency with which we will be doing manual reflections and things like that. And again, I just wanted to reiterate, our goal is to try and maximize the reflections for you guys, and that means like choosing the most optimal timings. If we are to perform buybacks and then to do those reflections, and we also don't want to get front ran. So that just means like using our time wisely, choosing the perfect moments, and then maximizing our returns for you. So there won't be a set frequency, and you won't know ahead of time because that would allow us to be front ran. But know that we have big juicy reflections coming, for lack of a better word. Um,
Yeah, shit. If you can hear in Bogart's voice, big juicy reflections inbound. And then just build off what Bogart was saying too. Like some companies in projects, they all have their key questions in mind when making a decision. So for Elon Musk, literally, this guy dictates his life based off one question: will this get me to Mars quicker? For us, we base every decision we make off of will our community reflect harder. So we have about, just doing quick math, we have a little bit over 280 to $300,000 to use for buybacks or liquidity providing. And people, like Bogart has said, people have asked, is there going to be any frequency to when we do the buybacks? And the short answer is, will this buyback yield us the most tokens to then dish out to our community? So as of lately, I haven't really seen anybody go full stack dump. And full stack dump is something between 20 to 60 Ethereum, just a giant sell. And we have a lot of large holders. I think everyone's just super freaking bullish on this token. So if you see a full stack dump, like 20 to 60 Ethereum dump, expect the treasury to buy that dip and to reflect those tokens out to the people who didn't dump. That's pretty much the basis. We're not going to be just nilly willy like dumping the treasury out at all time highs. Uh, because honestly, even back when we were a $10 million market cap, we would have discussions like, when do we use the buyback funds? And the biggest thing is, if we buy back on the dips, our community members can't open a position on that dip. We would like to give our community members the opportunity to create a position on a dip. But if they don't, then we will use the funds to facilitate some reflections to the holders. Cool. So, Bogart, is there any new business that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, we have all these conversations with the community and everything, and I love how excited everybody is about, some of our trading strategies as far as like utilizing tokens and buying dips and going into new pairs, all of that. And that stuff is super exciting, and that is what we're doing right now. But I do think it's like it's really imperative that we highlight that that is just the tip of the iceberg for what we are doing to yield for you guys. Um, we have tons of risk adjusted yielding strategies, and we say that a lot, but we really mean it. That are just going to load our treasury up and lead to some massive reflections over time. And being able to scale that in any market conditions is again like our utmost priority, is being able to, in a bear market, send out massive reflections because our treasury is still earning. We are the bear market coin. We're leading DeFi 3.0 and doing farming as a service. And our trades and our algorithms, like that is just one small facet of that. So we just want you guys to be really excited for all the other stuff that's to come, because Dione and Pan and our other algos, like that's just one small fraction and just the beginning. So we have a lot of stuff cooking right now for you guys that I'm excited to share, but won't right now.
Yeah, and then if anybody hasn't looked yet at the Ether scan, the largest holder is actually the advisory fund, with almost pushing 5% of the supply. All of that will be used to incentivize advisors. So if we're at a 100 mil market cap, that's $5 million to incentivize advisors. If we're at $1 billion market cap, that's $50 million to incentivize advisors, not even accounting for the reflections that stack will yield along the way. So when it comes to advisors, like, I don't see anybody else that will have the potential to incentivize advisors the same way we will. And a lot of the people that we've interacted with or brought on so far have been happy to base their pay or their compensation plans based off of the token, which is super freaking bullish because long term, I think we all expect this to do big things. Cool.
Yeah,
So,
I
um,
mean, that's all I really have, except I did want to say we didn't get our liquidity pool guide out yet, but it should be out tomorrow or the next day for anybody who's wanting to provide liquidity for the pair. It's an awesome thing to do, and we will have a very simple medium guide for that coming.
sweet. And as far as their space schedule goes, like we always say, either once a day or there'll never be 2 days in a row without a space. If we have this giant reflection news come to fruition tomorrow, then we'll have a space tomorrow to celebrate. If not, then expect tomorrow if we have something else or the next day. Do we want to open to some Q&A real quick? And then also, do we want to open to some QA?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, let's do
I
it. Yeah.
think if
Yeah,
people
cool.
love to come up and ask some stuff.
Yeah, and then I wanted to also just real quick mention a couple other things. As far as the dashboard goes, we have a lot of ideas that we'd like to implement. Right now, the development team is just working on a bunch of different stuff at once. Once we get everything, fine tuned, we'll add the cool little widgets like how many tokens have been reflected over a period of time, how many tokens like have been reflected in total, um, exactly where all the funds are sitting at one moment. Because right now it went from the treasury fund went from showing a little bit over $1 million to now 700K. But the rest of the money that was pulled to the uh, risk to reward trading fund is still there. It just doesn't show at the moment. So we will get all of that updated in good time and expect to have an addicting site in the future. So if anybody wants to request to come to the stage, any quick questions, we probably open it up for about 15 to 20 minutes. Are we that thorough? Anybody have any
I guess so.
questions?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean it's pretty straightforward. Everything that we're doing, and that's why I enjoy these spaces too, because every time we have a little bit of progress or we have something that is different from the last one, uh, maybe I hit the nail on the head when I mentioned that we were going to update the dashboard. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to request to come to the stage. There are no dumb questions. Fun fact, Bogart has a posse of ducks. Fun fact. Um,
I do have some real ducks, and it looks like Mo is requesting to speak, and probably not to ask about that. I'm going to add Mo. Okay, Mo, I'm adding you.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, Mo, you're howdy, brother. How's it
Good,
going?
excellent. Um, Thanks for holding this space. I wanted to ask a question. So I know you said before that there was certain money you had set aside. I don't know if the figure was what, 300,000 or so, that you would buy the dips on ACYC should you feel the need to. Um, I know it dipped yesterday, like 20% or something like that. At what point do you guys decide when to utilize that, or was that not enough? Because I know you're buying certain coins that you mentioned earlier with like a 20% dip and doubling down. So how does that all work?
I, I can take that. I think it's all context based. So when we had a 50 mil market cap, just about everybody was praying for a dip. And so it'd almost be a little bit selfish for us to immediately buy that dip because it was a couple larger sells. So nothing has to be immediate. If somebody wants to sell a bunch at once, we'll see how the market reacts. And if nobody's scooping it up and we feel like it's disrespectful to the chart, then we will initiate some of those buybacks.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty healthy. Like you said before, nothing goes straight up and it's healthy and the wealth spreads around too. So, okay, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll add to that and just say like it, it is healthy for the chart, the sideways movement. And we've been saying, I mean, Nate was saying at the, the first spaces, he said, I would love to trade sideways between 10 and $15 million. And like trading sideways is great because that's just us developing behind the scenes, like doing awesome stuff and giving people a time. Goes up, we're reflecting hard and we're still doing everything behind the scenes and still going to be sending out manual reflections. So the people not selling are really, it doesn't matter as much. That's sort of the beauty of ACYC is it's something you can kind of just set and forget.
Yeah, I was definitely happy about it, to be honest. I bought more, so I was excited about the price dip myself,
There we go. Congratulations. That's what we're hoping for. And we all reflect on the other side of that.
Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll bring up a Bombay and then we'll bring up Chief. Actually, we'll just accept both right now. Bombay, we'll have you go first, though. Welcome to the stage, Bombay.
Hey guys, thank you very much. Not a holder, but just kind of happened to pop into your spaces. Super interesting. Love the concept of farming as a service. I have been doing a little bit of kind of liquidity mining, liquidity, just kind of yield farming. Been dabbling in that over the last few months, in a bunch of different protocols and different level ones. Just kind of curious as a newcomer to ACYC. What should I be aware of? Is how do I become a holder? Is it just straight up, go buy your token on Uniswap? Is it just as simple as that? Are there minimums? Hold out periods, etc. I just kind of want to get a quick lay of the land.
Yeah, totally. So I think I appreciate the question because I think it's easy to forget that sometimes we have new people in the spaces when we talk about all this. But yeah, so participating in ACYC is as simple as going onto Uniswap and purchasing the ACYC token. And there is a 10% tax on the buy side and the sell side.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to adjust your slippage to 12%. But that tax, the 10% tax on the buy side, every single cent of that gets reflected to ACYC holders. So every time there's a purchase, 10% of that purchase gets distributed immediately to everyone holding ACYC. And you don't have to stake your coin. You don't have to claim your token. It's instant. It's with every transaction. And then on the sales side, that goes back to our investment fund, our treasury, and buybacks and reflections for you guys. And so our investment fund and treasury, it's really fun. I love to talk about this part of it because half of the profits from that investment fund, 50%, goes to buying back ACYC tokens on the market, which is great because you get 10% reflections for everyone on that. But then we have the ability in our contract to manually reflect all of those purchase tokens as well to holders. So 50% of the treasury profits actually go directly back to everybody holding ACYC. And again, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to stake it. You don't have to claim it. You don't have to worry about what we're farming. You don't have to worry about what tokens to buy. You just buy our token. You buy ACYC. You sit back and you reflect. And it's as simple as that. And so we actually have a Medium article. If you go to the ACYC Medium, that just has a really simple, how to buy. And it shows you images, gives you all the links you need. And it's just as simple as that.
I wanted to add on to that. There's a dashboard that you can connect your wallet to that'll show you your reflection amount over time.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. What gives you the edge, right? Obviously, like it isn't, you kind of talking about, DeFi 3.0 and right, just kind of farming as a service, which is amazing because I've had to go through, early stages of protocols getting hacked, having to deal with that. I've dealt with impermanence loss. I've dealt with, having to claim and rebalance, LP tokens, etc. Obviously, you're doing all of that as a managed service, which is amazing. But kind of beyond that, you talk about risk-adjusted strategies. Just kind of curious, what's kind of banded, what brought you guys together, and what kind of gives you the special edge?
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that question. So our, like we like to say, we have a lot of risk-adjusted strategies, and LP is just one of them. Right now, we have our first algorithmic trading protocol named Pan, who Pan, watches new pairs, new tokens, and enters and exits on positions that are extremely high risk, but extremely high reward. And so that initially is one level of it, and we have other algorithms like Nate was mentioning, that if Pan sells or if Pan chooses not to enter into a specific position, we have Dione who might choose to enter in that position afterwards, or maybe Pan exits and Dione sees that as an opportunity and enters. And so that's just one part of it where we have these algorithmic trading protocols. But then we also have, we have other strategies, and I can't give too much away,
Sure.
but, to invest in more low risk, but medium to high reward investments, like Nate was talking about. That's sort of where the treasury funds have gone recently, is focusing on that kind of stuff. So we're building layer on layer of these different ways to yield capital in any market. So, you might deal with impermanent loss in your LP, but you have Pan and Dione running, and you might have, your other fund doing this. So it's really diversifying and covering all our bases, and then also using the expertise of like the whole team. So like the core ethos of ACYC is to be decentralized and to be resistant. And so, and combining those principles to create something that's bigger than any individual. And so we have a lot of big brains involved. And so it's not having one farmer or having one trader. It's having a ton of really bright minds that are very experienced in this field, ready to yield capital and help us all reflect.
Got it. And as a holder, do you kind of have any insight into, what pairs and kind of like obviously after the fact, is there any report on, which protocols, which pairs you ended up, farming and
Yes.
providing liquidity to?
Mm-hmm. So for that right now, we're keeping that stuff close to the breast because, these are proprietary algorithms, and obviously you can't, if you give away your secrets, then it's no good. But we will be implementing things on our dashboard moving forward where you will be able to see most likely like trade performance, if not, or at least portfolio performance. Maybe you'll see the high risk portfolios performance or recent, best recent trades or best worst trades.
Right.
Because there's obviously those too.
Yeah, you see kind of a weighted portfolio, kind of a weighted performance index
exactly.
of sorts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're considering bringing on outside auditing so that people can look at that and say, okay, they're not pocketing half of their profits. But for the time being, we're just focused on actually yielding the capital for you guys and getting that back in reflections. And we're constantly developing the means to, show that to you guys, to show those results besides just in the treasury.
Got it. And what is a snapshot of the results thus far? Is that on the dashboard? I guess I just haven't looked, but.
Right now, you can just, if you go to the dashboard, you can just see the treasury as it stands. But right now, it's not.
Advertised.
Yeah, totally. So you can just see the treasury balance, and it's actually, as Nate mentioned, it's gone down a little bit because we've moved that capital to another gnosis to then invest from.
Got it. And one last question. You kind of mentioned advisors. What does that entail? What do you look for in advisors? And
yeah, so an advisor, Nate and I are advisors, but it depends. It's different. It's different for each thing. Nate and I obviously we have a lot of trading experience and management experience and things like that, and so that's where we can fit in. Nathan is obviously our web developer. He's going to advise if we ever were to bring anybody on to do things like that. It's really having an individual with the greater knowledge that is able to then share with the rest of the team that knowledge. And so it's having a ton of brains on one thing. So if you're having a farming advisor, who we're looking for right now, the farming advisor, assists in advising all of the farmers. It's not one person doing all the farming. It's somebody that is able to say, look, I have the expertise, I have the knowledge, and let's maximize what we're all doing together. So that's kind of where the advisors fit in, is sort of like a higher up level for the other people involved in the project.
Got it. So, I'm also kind of on the side, like, just kind of invest in new protocols, new DeFi protocols. Like, just I'm just kind of curious, like, would it be kind of kosher to, like, loop you guys in on stuff I see, or for you guys to evaluate? If I were to be a part of and be a holder of ACYC, how would that work, as far as, in some ways passing on alpha, or just being,
Well,
if
yeah,
just being
no,
like a
that's
member of the
actually,
community, and
mhm.
just kind of telling you, like, hey, your heads up, here's something new on Solana, then DeFi on Solana that I just invested in, or something in the Stacks ecosystem I invested
Yeah.
in, or
No, we
yeah,
love that, and we've actually, so we've I think either the last Spaces or the one before that, we opened up our Discord, and I've personally been blown away by the amount of engagement we've had in the Discord,
cool.
and we have an alpha room in there for holders of 200 million or more, and I know in there they caught that mongoose play. They caught it at a few 100,000 market cap, and it's now sitting at 20 million.
Wow.
So anyone who was in that alpha room, had access to that. But I mean, we love that, and Nate and I are in there sharing our own alpha about things. So yeah, I mean, we love to hear that from the community. We love to get that from you, and we love to give it back. And so the Discord is really where that's been going on.
That's awesome. How
But
big is
yeah,
your holder community right now?
I think we have over 2,000 holders
Okay.
now, and I think we have over we have over 2,000 holders, and I think we have over 1,000 people in the Discord already, which is great. At least half of our holders are in there participating, and it's a really active community, and I've loved that. And it's great to see actual alpha coming out of there and people making gains already. It's really rewarding.
That's amazing. Thanks so much, guys, for being patient with all my questions. And
Yeah, thank you.
as a newcomer in the first time,
Join the
yeah, man,
Discord.
looking forward to
Love
it.
to see you in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Just wanted to add a couple more things too, with like the responses to those questions. So the advisors, I mean, why we made this token as well, or why this token was conceived, is we want to give everybody exposure to different emerging markets that are, if one market's in a bear, the other could be in a bull. Uh, Personally, I know nothing about farming or liquidity providing, and I know everything about gobbling dips, DCAing, supports, resistances, how to make money in a bull, and how to make money in a bear, but I know nothing about that other side. And so that's where we're bringing together all the gigamines from all different fields to create a well-balanced and risk-adjusted, trading portfolio for our holders. Because if anybody knows anything about shitcoins, you're going to fall on your ass 10 times before you make a successful trade. I've heard the same thing about high risk yield farming. It takes a lot of falling down to get on your feet. And so this will be kind of an entry, or, how to get exposure to all of these fields without actually falling on your ass. So that's pretty much the basis behind the advisors. And with the advisors, like Bogart said, the advisors won't be, spearheading all of the trading. If anything, you could almost think of them as branch managers, where we'll have operators. We already have people who will yield farm and who will, farm stable coins, but we really want an advisor to go through and, do the one-on-one time with them and say, hey, this is what I've seen work in other areas, or this is where I want you to look. Like you said, where can I drop the alpha? Our advisors would kind of be like, poke. Hey, are you looking at this? You should be looking at this, or you should be focusing less here and moving more here. So they kind of just be like the branch manager of their department. So that's kind of how that fits into play.
Cool.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And how
Yeah.
how big is your team right now?
Our team
I'm
is
cutting
more.
Nate off.
I wasn't gonna say. I wasn't gonna say.
We have a big team.
Yeah,
We have a nice sizable team. We won't be disclosing yet how many there are, but it is a considerable team.
Hey, Nate, Bogart. So we have a lot of new people
Awesome,
just
guys.
joined the room. I think it would be good if you guys could just reset the room and give a quick summary, maybe of a minute, of what you guys discussed during this space.
Do you want me to caffeinatedly go through it, or do you want to hit this one, Bogart?
Yeah, I can do it. I think just like the main purpose of this space, at least for me, was to highlight that Pan and Dione, our trading algorithms, have been performing amazingly, and the results we've seen from that are just astounding. We've seen 10,000% gains. We've seen countless really great trades, and that's very exciting. But the highlight is that is just the beginning, and that we've started branching out into other risk adjusted yielding strategies. that are already proving themselves to be worthwhile. And so it's just about creating a diversified portfolio for our holders that spans, many markets and can withstand any market conditions. And it's just we're here to share that, that expansion is happening.
Well said. Well said.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Good day, Chief.
Welcome, Chief.
How are you guys? How's everyone doing?
Doing well. Chief is one of our very bullish supporters. I've seen Chief in there. I know Chief, so it's great to have you up here.
Man, love it. It's my first time pulling up to the Spaces to speak, but I guess I have a question at the end. But I think I just want to kind of explain my understanding of ACYC to make sure that I guess I'm not selling myself a pipe dream, because goddamn, this shit is bullish as fuck, right? Like, this is how I see this playing out. And again, please correct me if I'm wrong. That'll be helpful. But I guess I look at ACYC as you guys already talked about like the DeFi 3.0 kind of space and how you'll be innovating there, with using trading algorithms to ape into different coins. Obviously, that's the high risk part, right? But then you got lower risk with yield farming, using all of that. So that's the lower risk, but still the higher reward stuff. And then you got your stable coins, etc., etc. Now, I've been in the space for, just below a year, and you guys have way bigger brains than myself. But, just I guess when you look at this model, right? Like, my background's in venture capital and e-commerce and everything, and like Web3 is obviously disrupting fucking everything around us. And how I see this is like ACYC could potentially disrupt basically the whole kind of hedge fund model, right? Like, you're utilizing kind of the same concepts for goddamn like DeFi, crypto, and then kind of going from there, right? And obviously the tech side is super bullish because you get reflections. Like, call me Hector the Reflector over here. Like, I'm just jacked to the tits with my reflections. Day one supporter, and $45 million market cap right now. Like, I've been living behind this chart, but like 45 million market cap is FUD, right? Like, we look at BlackRock, $140 billion market cap, and they're dinosaurs, right? Like, you start looking into like how can this model be applied in the future, and I think ACYC could genuinely capture that, because the gigabrain team is what's going to make it, right? Like, anyone can create a shit coin and anyone can create a coin, but basically the team is what makes it. And that's with any startup, right? Like, with in our VC kind of space, we don't really care about the idea at the end of the day, but if the team just seems super genuine, super excited, super passionate, and they've got experience in whatever they're building, yes, whatever you want, we will fund you. And this just seems like the same concept. Like, you guys, super bullish. I can't wait to hear more about kind of who's behind the team and the kind of more advisors and everything. But from just what we know already, like, I am super bullish. So I guess kind of the question part of this is that kind of a correct summary of how I see this kind of going, right? Because ACYC could genuinely disrupt this whole model. And like, with us being launched less than 10 days ago, like, this is gonna go, right? Like, or like is the model correct? Like, am I understanding kind of where ACYC can go in the future correctly?
Yeah, that's great. I thank you for the words. And yeah, I think like trying to reserve our bullishness, I'm always trying to rein Nate in specifically. But I feel equally as bullish about it too. And I think when you think about what this model is, and it's like we've said before, there are going to be other tokens that do it, and that's fine. That's great. What that means is that this is a successful field that people are entering in. But like you said, this is about the team, and that's what ACYC is all about, is getting the best and brightest minds in the space involved in this. Because anybody can, our contract is verified. It's open source. You can go and see it and try and copy it yourself, but you'll never have the minds that we have behind ACYC. So we welcome competition. It's healthy for the market. It's validating for what we're doing. And it does go to show that I really do think this is a new sector. $1 billion market cap, I've been saying since the beginning, is FUD. A $5 billion market cap to me is FUD. But I get too bullish when I say those things, so I have to stop myself. But I really do see this, we are the bear market coin. We are what you can hold and set and forget, and know that when Ethereum is crashing or Bitcoin is crashing or the whole market is down, you can be sure that ACYC is making money and reflecting that back to you. And that's just a positive feedback loop. So I'm ultra bullish on it as well. And I really appreciate you coming up and sharing, your perspective of it from the outside. It's great to hear from other people.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. But yeah, exactly. The idea concept is so spot on, right? Like, often people will say, well, before I can share you my idea, sign this non-disclosure agreement. Like, Natshuba, you're a dumbass, right? Like, that's not that ain't gonna work like that. So the same here. If this is just an idea, like, no one can copy the idea is worthless. It's the actual team who's actually delivering and kind of doing all that stuff. So yeah. Anyway, you know not financial advice, but man, like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm super bullish and can't wait for more stuff. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I purposely didn't unmute to respond to that because, Chief, very, very bullish remarks and honestly so accurate. A lot of these old uh, stock-based or S&P 500 based companies or investment firms, they like to look at years and years and years and years of calculated data run through everything that they can find. And crypto and yield farming and all of this is just so new that they just do not have the capabilities to effectively jump into the mix. Recently, when I was in Miami for Art Basel, a lot of fund representatives, so people who are appointed by a fund to go and make trades for them or collect data or to open the doors to different conversations. A lot of these representatives were just saying that like the representative themselves has absolutely no idea what's going on. They're basically just sent out to fall on their ass and collect data or to succeed and collect data. So all of these firms are so far behind anything that we're capable of because if you think about it, like any of the advisors we plan to sign on aren't going to go get some corporate job advising for some giant company. Like right now, I can tell you if any giant bank or any giant investment firm or whoever offered me a job, I would say, please, no, I respect what you've offered me, but absolutely not. Would much rather lead the way ourselves or be involved at the ground level than to go sell myself out for however somebody thinks it should be done compared to what is really going on. So yeah, I think that if anything, they're super lagged behind. They won't be able to catch up in any near time frame of 1 to 10 years because they feed off of way more data than they have available to them. So yeah, super bullish, but I had to rein myself back because everything you said is exactly how I feel and exactly why anything anything under a bill is FUD. But the concept is there, the team's there. We just need to build the treasury, build the numbers, and execute as planned, and then it should all come to fruition. Not saying that a bill is tomorrow because honestly, if we hit a bill in the next month, that's still too early. We won't have all the data. We won't have all of the numbers. We won't have all of the advisors that we need in the next month. But I do think that a steady rise up before parabolic run makes the most sense. Supa, we brought you up to the stage, and Papa Bones, I'm gonna bring you up. I'll have you after Supa.
Yo, what's good? I'm actually in an airplane right now. Is there a lot of feedback that's happening?
Just a
Just a
small
little,
amount.
you're fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually just wanted to hop in on here, not to ask any questions, but like, for me, when I think about investing into a project, I really look at the team first. And I've known Nate since day one. He was actually the one who sold me my current Kong. And when I saw that he was endorsing this project, like for me, Nate has been one of the most genuine, transparent guys in this space. He's helped me so much. So once I first heard about ACYC, like it was kind of a no-brainer for me because when I look at projects, I really look at the project team, right? The product could be great, whatever, but like you have two guys in Nate Rivers and Bogart who have been in the CyberKong's community for so long, and they've just been, great role models in that space, have done so much in that space that, like, when I first heard about ACYC, like, it was a no-brainer for me. And at this point, I do not regret my decision at all. Like, I feel like, everything that made me feel convicted to invest into this project was totally proven. So I just wanted to say great job to you guys. I mean, like, you guys are pushing the space forward, and I'm just so glad that two respective Kongs are actually making this moving. So I just wanted to say thank you to guys. But yeah,
Well,
that's pretty
awesome,
much it.
Supa. Thank you so much for the words. Yeah, I mean, we really appreciate that. And, being genuine and transparent and, forward with everybody is absolutely Nate and my priority, whether it's here or in Kongs or anything like that. And, the fact that that's reflected and appreciated is appreciated by us.
Agree. This is Papa Bones. Hey, guys. So I totally agree with most everything that's being said. I just had two questions. One was as you scale to larger size, like say you're doing, multi-million-dollar trades. How are you managing risk? Because like it's kind of interesting. Because if you start to hold yourself up against BlackRock or whatever, then you're like. It seems to be one difference is the fact that you can be so nimble when these large companies aren't. But I guess I just you don't have to have an answer now, but just like what is your approach dealing with risks as you scale? I'm just curious if you have thoughts about that. Maybe not tonight. And then the other one was I do feel like this is Web3 movement, and just I don't. You kind of touched on it, but it feels to me like that is a major difference between ACYC and these big funds is not just because they have gigabrains too, right? These other companies are filled with the best and the brightest, making money. But the difference to me is not the quality of the teams. I mean, obviously this is a great team, but one of the differences is the way that you're approaching it and the transparency and openness and like the Web3. Everybody can be part of the community aspect of it. That's so different, I guess. How do you agree with that? Anyway, that's my other question.
Honestly, yeah, well-rounded question. You're right. BlackRock doesn't have dummies working for them. They don't just bring in anybody to come execute trades or create proposals for investing. And we've talked about it before. Risk-adjusted trading strategies. If our treasury fund's at $100 million, it's not like we're going to do these good risk to reward trades with $10 million or even $1 million. The size should never really exceed what makes sense, and that's where stablecoin farming and yield farming come into play because as mundane or boring as it sounds, a point or a 0.5% gain on your investment every day for stablecoin farming. When we're working with $100 million or even just $50 million or $10 million, getting 0.5% every day, that's 500K on $100 million. I mean, that's 500K on $100 million every single day at just a modest 0.5%, which is very, very doable in this market and any market that we've seen so far involving crypto and DeFi. Yeah, so definitely, we're not going to scale up our ballsy trades or our position sizes based off the treasury size because personally myself, and I'm pretty sure most of the future advisors that we bring on involving trades and strategy, they all know what it means to blow up an account. And the easiest way to blow up your account is to try to do the same thing you've been doing, but with larger size. So, always want to make sure if you make a trade, you can make it at least 100 more times. So that's where, and I think sometimes in our message, it gets a little bit lost. Everything else aside from everything that's not stablecoin farming and yield farming is just for the purpose of getting more capital to stablecoin and yield farm. So as our treasury goes, every other risk adjusted trading strategy will not grow with it. only yield farming and stablecoin farming will. It's just to create a larger war chest to execute those, because at $100 million, we could easily see an account take a massive hit if we try to size any position, no matter what it is. And then yeah, all of them, they will have gigabrains. We'll have gigabrains, and the most exciting part is the fact that the community will be able to be involved, because our end goal for this project is to become a decentralized, a decentralized farming as a service project where I don't want to bring it up too much, but basically the operators or advisors will be elected by the community. And if you look at our holder chart, I think we posted it on the ACYC channel. It looks like just about 25% of the supply is held by the minority. So the top 100 holders hold about 75% of the supply, but the other 25% of holders hold. The other currently 1,900 holders hold 25% of the supply. So we'll aim to make sure that nobody can construe the votes, but we would like, at the end of the day, the community to elect their representatives for the different risk-adjusted trading strategies, or the dip fund, stablecoin farming, et cetera, et cetera. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, totally. No, it's awesome. I just, again, for me, this venture you're building is just yet another expression of what Web3 can enable. And it's, it is technologies, but it's also a mindset, the fact that we're together. I don't know. I just love that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. And I think it's awesome. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think like that community engagement, and again, it's like the whole idea of Web3. We're a collective, and that's sort of what ACYC, the principle of ACYC, is like we are a collective. Nate said it on the last Spaces. Like, ideally, if Nate and I were in a car crash and we're gone, and at the rest of the team, even there's still enough there to keep ACYC going, because it's bigger. Web3 and ACYC even is bigger than any individuals. And that principle is definitely like super important to us. And so having the community engaged in what we're doing and where we're going is like totally super important.
Yeah, and I think also like one of the biggest motivations behind creating something like this is, even in the structure of how the community is rewarded, it's greater than anything that exists currently anywhere. The people at the top, or the advisors or the operators, will be fairly compensated for their efforts. Like we just discussed earlier, trying to bring on a master yield farmer, and 7 digits wasn't enough to get him to budge. It wasn't even about the money to him. It was more about that he likes what he was doing. But we'll never offer somebody an outlandish number like 8 digits, 9 digits to come do this job, or give them some crazy compensation plan when we could just spread that out amongst our holders. Because as everyone knows, 10% of the buys get reflected back to holders, 50% of all profits go back to holders. Only 15% of all profits will be split between advisors and the council. So at the end of the day, our goal is to reward the holders, reward the community, and to create something that is self-flourishing. Do we want to call it there? We're going over a little bit past an hour now. I think if we keep these short to about an hour, we'll give people the best chance of listening to them after the fact.
Yeah, that's fine. I feel like this has been a pretty well-rounded space where you guys got some nice little details about what we're doing, and can know that this is a lot greater than Pan. It's a lot greater than Dione. It's a lot greater than those algorithms. It's a lot greater than any individual trading strategy that we have. Diversification, and building a curated portfolio that can withstand any market is ACYC's goal. So yeah, let's hang on to Pan. Let's get excited about those trades that we do decide to share with you, but let's also keep the perspective that this is so much greater than that, and we're really excited for it.
And then with that being said, come if you're not in our Discord already, come join the channel. It's very lively. I've really never seen something pop up so quick that has had so much traction. I think at all times of the day, there's people in general chat, even more so in the Alpha channel, just discussing ideas, looking at positions. I do want to shout out that one of our members came into the Alpha channel yesterday and was very adamant that Mongoose was a strong buy at 200K market cap. It's currently at a 20 mil market cap, which is about 100x from there, or 100x from there. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of volume. A lot of our holders who were, being influenced by that member are in the green, we'll say. So that, and sometimes I'll pop in and I'll mention stuff like I look like this is my motto. Like I work on ACYC and I look at charts all day. So if I look at a chart and I think there's room to spread the word, then Alpha channel is where I'll be talking. So yeah, would love to see everybody there in the ACYC Discord. We also have a Telegram, but I'm a Discord maxi compared to Telegram. So if you want to interact with me or some of the other members, find us in Discord. Cool. So
yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for coming and listening. We will have another Spaces soon. If not tomorrow, then the next day. Like Nate said, join the Discord. It's really awesome in there. And yeah, happy reflecting, everybody.